here, but the first blood still just comes through, and Tarzan diving onto Razork now underneath the turret, and it's a double!
Look MF Lucian. I catch up. Yeah. Look at Leona. Leona. Go flash runner. Nice! Calm down. Very good, guys. I will go Leona. Nice pressure. I ult him. Look at, I got nice. Lucian. Nice. Heal the Renekton after, guys. Heal the Renekton after, okay? We can go. Yeah. Look at Nida, guys. I can get the Nida. I ult here. Yeah. Nida. Nice. Go Nash.
I didn't doubt them for a second. If I absolutely didn't. Fnatic close out of this game.
Sorry, I just had a bad cough, you know?
It's been going around.
These
it's
cold
okay.
Berlin days.
Fnatic, yeah, they're still in it. And how? I think after the snafu, I want to say, in the early game, which we'll also talk about, they sovereignly drive this game home. And it all started thanks to the reliable Cisco network when they were able to catch out Crisp. And when they were behind in this game, turn on him and, yeah, deal a big blow to Weibo.
Yeah, I think they're trying to pick off Humanoid on this bottom side, but it's funny because they don't really have control over the mid lane, and they're so far overextending the spot side for Weibo, but Fnatic really call it out incredibly well. Jump on towards Crisp, have this immediate turnaround, and Oscarinin plays this fight absolutely spectacular. He gets on towards Tarzan. Fnatic play the fight then patient, pull back, wait for Weibo to overextend. Oscarinen's able to heal off of these honey fruit up on the top of your screen, and then with that extra health bar, they turn this around and just able to pick off Light as well. He tries to go for the cleanse, but Jun is able to follow up over the wall. It was a really well orchestrated fight from Fnatic, and honestly showcased a lot more of the patience that we got from them this game, which honestly was kind of the big surprising point.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was by far the most impressive part of this game to me, is that Fnatic is known as this team that they have a strong early game, but they're hopeless in the mid game, they're hopeless in the late game. They actually crumbled early, but collected themselves, played really patient, collected. They were very impressive, I think, in how they were actually running around in the side lanes, not overextending, not overforcing. They had a scaling advantage, and they just played really intelligently towards it.
That's what I think is the craziest about this game, and the reason why when we were watching together, I was the biggest doomer you have ever seen, guys. Because look at this early game and what happens, right? Because we've said a lot about Fnatic that sometimes they draft a composition and then don't really play to their win conditions. Now, the last thing you want to do in this situation, I think, is give the Lucian a couple of kills.
Yeah, absolutely. And they didn't even have to force it. I mean, not only could Humanoid have flashed either of the spears, but it's like when you get hit by the first spear, you don't have to go for the gank. Razork can just go back to farming. You don't need to make anything happen, but instead they try to outplay.
This infuriated me, and I'm really happy that Fnatic was able to win the game, because Humanoid, why are you recalling there? And you already, you gotta sense it, and you know it, and this is such a useless death. But maybe it was necessary for him to power up through the
Baited them into a false sense of security.
Question, I just wanted to say it because,
humble Humanoid, bring him back, you know?
Yes, maybe that is the way, and I hope Fnatic fans won't be too angry, but I think, you know, this is an elimination series, right? And you just can't be making these mistakes necessarily, and I think they played this out really, really well.
Or you can, and you still win.
Okay. Okay. For Weibo, though, yeah, was it a comp issue once they got put behind, or what was your read?
I think there was partly how they wanted to try and operate on the map. I think Fnatic did a really good job of punishing the overextensions, specifically from Xiohu in these kind of fights, and Jun was a big factor for this. I think he was phenomenal in these team fights, being able to secure so many of these leads, but also then how Weibo just were constantly trying to force fights when they weren't really in a position to do so, and I think that sideline play earlier showed it greatly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, I also do want to talk about the fact that Weibo are going to be going to blue side. It'll be their first blue side game of the tournament. They have tried to play a lot towards comfort. You know, Lucian for Xiohu, it is ultimate comfort. He's something like an 84% win rate on it, 34 of 33 games, right around there, and has been so good on it. He's played 3 AD carry games at Worlds, lost all 3. They haven't been able to win anything except the one Orianna game against TL. They're going to blue side. I think that they are going to go towards full standard. Comfort is not working for them. Trying to overforce in the early game did not work for them. I think we're going to see them go as meta can be and see if they can just beat Fnatic that way.
But with your potential tournament lives on the line, that's not exactly where we want to be. Hey, what we came into this tournament with is completely not working. Now we are forced to go back to a style that we're not really practiced on and we clearly don't want to play. And sure, they won that game against TL, but that was TL's game. It was not Weibo under control for the majority of that game. So I'm nervous for Weibo here. It feels like nothing that they have is working, and Fnatic, they look confident on the Rift.
I mean, yeah, for Weibo, they can be so wildly inconsistent, but then they can beat LNG in a game 5 with Tarzan on Italy, and I feel like they wanted to to channel that in the beginning of the series, and I can totally see why. I'm not writing them off just because I know how inconsistent they can be, right? But now this is possibly your very last game.
I think the thing that gives me confidence for Fnatic here is how well aligned they've been in these fights. Jun overextending has been a big talking point for a lot of Fnatic, the inability to find success in these team fights, but they are patient, they are supporting Humanoid incredibly well on side lanes, and Jun has been outstanding. As long as they can keep this control coming into game number 2, I think Fnatic have this.
Yeah, perhaps we have a good luck charm in Atlas and Chronicler coming over.
What about me?
And they've changed.
I'm not a good luck charm.
You've been here. You've been here.
With the mustache.
And I don't think Isaac's ever been a good luck charm, unfortunately. It's just not really been a thing. So
But he broke the curse at least.
that is true. That is true. He's working it back.
Small
but it's just
steps.
not-
Baby steps.
Exactly. It's not quite there.
Do you trust him to be here, today?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah! no stress at all.
100%. We'll get to the next series when the next series
Yeah, I don't think we need to. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. It is now time to get towards game number 2. And we'll just have to see whether it is going to be more early game, but now it is time for Champion Select powered by Omen and HyperX. And already a tree has been removed. Another one could go, but it's going to be Aurora first.
I also kind of felt like both teams were warming up in that game.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to see about changes not only in draft, but also in gameplay here for both of these teams. But as we said, Fnatic, again, another Aurora ban. Seems like they really have not invested the time to utilize it themselves. It's very common on red side, though, so it should just be the wombo combo of red side bans.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That's exactly what we want to see. Aurora and Yone, both of them taken away, and now you get your 1 ban. Congrats. First it is going to be the Kalista taken away from Weibo, though. We'll see what they're going to round out these bans with. Might tell a little bit of a story as to what they're going to go for their first pick.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Weibo are not going to do another Nidalee Lucian game.
I still feel like
So I don't think you need to
Renekton
ban
still
those.
stands out to me for some reason. I'm kind of hoping first pick Renekton isn't a thing.
I wouldn't mind Skarner again. Gonna get prioritized here.
Not bad. Take it away from Razork, who was so incredibly good at it in game number 1. Kind of okay with where it's going so far. Definitely is a change-up here for Weibo.
All right, Fnatic. If we go Vi plus some kill-oriented mid lane, maybe. They don't do it quite yet.
Rell Vi is a lot of CC, though, and it certainly sets up a game plan here for Fnatic.
Plus, I have to say, Rell in the previous game looked exceptional. So I would say immediately go right back on that, slam it. I think Jun definitely kind of gapped Crisp in the previous game. So now, like you're saying, they've got really good guaranteed engage. And it's up to Weibo to break up the Vi plus, kill-oriented mid lane, the Orianna hover, as well as the Ahri hover here so far.
Yep, Orianna will be locked away, so Xiohu back to what has worked so far in that one game.
So that was just a dare. He was like, all right, so you want to play some Ahri plus Vi? Well,
I can't do anything about it, so you can do that if you want to. Haha. Got you.
Do they want to go for the Jax here? We've seen a lot of that. I do think Skarner, as far as, deliverers of Orianna's ball, not the best. Jax would make a lot of sense, does give you a lot of threat, and has also been a very popular line pick. I do think that if you do have a good Gragas, like we saw how lopsided that matchup can feel. I do think that that's going to be a next rotation thing. Maybe Weibo even will throw a ban towards it, because you need to guarantee of something with this Vi. It's going to be the Ahri. We've seen this combo a million times. Everyone knows how it works. You hit level 6, the opposing mid laner is immobile. They probably die.
Yeah, I would say straight up here, though, already some pretty good adjustments from Weibo. They have so much more security this time around as far as the scaling of the comp into the later stage of the game, team fighting, as well as split pushing options. So they're really covering all of their bases here, and you can tell game number 1 was just a very quick opening of the series. Can we immediately destroy you in the early stages?
And the answer was no.
The answer was an emphatic no.
Yes, and then they decided, oh, well, Fnatic picked champions that won, so let's pick them. No Syndra, though. It is going to be Orianna instead, but certainly works in a very similar way, very orb-focused. As now the bans to be coming through, the Alistar going to be taken away just to protect that Rell matchup. Xayah left at the same time. Is K'Sante going to be removed?
I'm not a big fan of that K'Sante ban. K'Sante, to me, has
think
really
it saves
actually
Oscarinin, to be honest.
Yeah, well, not only that, but it's also, I think, struggled a lot into the Jax. And to me, I think Fnatic are going to be looking for something that can augment the dive in one way or another, right? Either layer more dive power together with it, or try to go for something that, like a Rumble, right? Where you can use the ultimate on the Vi target and go from there. Top lane should be the lock-in here, and then they can save the counter pick for Noah. Unless they have something really crazy in top, can also just lock in something for Noah here. Maybe Ezreal, something that is pretty self-sufficient, allows the Rell to go by that. But I think this makes a ton of sense, right? Yeah. The ultimate of Rumble combined with Vi Rell, that's a very scary combo to go up against.
Yeah, kind of like what you were talking about earlier. They already have the base layer for a good Rumble pick with a Rell and a Vi engaged to hold people in place for that ultimate. So it makes a lot of sense into the Jax there. And Light will actually steal away that Ezreal because he's worried about the Vi Ahri combination. And that is one way to try and gain some extra distance.
Yep. Is it just going to be another Leona to be locked in here for Crisp? Certainly has been something as a favorite alongside the Ezreal, but instead some more mobility as the Rakan going to be taken down. And now Jun, considering a misfortune here for Noah to play the other side of the matchup this time. Of course, it's not a Varus being wielded against him. This is what Light was on in the last game.
Atlas, I'm sorry, but I kind of like Jin. In this scenario.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it because I didn't want to say it, and I don't have to say it. It's okay. Jin's not here. He can't hurt you.
I wouldn't have minded it.
As the Misfortune is going to be locked in. And I like Misfortune when there's Rumble in the game. Equalizer bullet time. It's part of the most classic Wombo combo that we've ever had in the game. Unfortunately, there's no Amumu, but it's fine. You can layer these abilities on top of each other. With a Magnet Storm, you can just kill everyone.
Here's my question to you, though. How much Wombo combo is too much? Do you even need the extra piece of Misfortune? Because do you want another, like, no
such thing as too much.
Because then after you use it, like, what if you whiff, you know?
That's a good point.
Or what if they don't have a good setup for it?
For Weibo, I think his composition feels miles ahead in terms of what it can do. Like, I still think it has some points in the early game, right? If you do get a combo, if you find someone with the Impale and you layer some damage on top, definitely a lot weaker in the early game. But between the Jax and the Rakan specifically, that Orianna is going to have a ton of power. And I do think that this is a style of composition where Fnatic is going to have to be the aggressor, which obviously has been somewhat of a double-edged sword for them.
Yeah, and I do think now with a bit of like a game breathing room for Fnatic, maybe it's time to go back and see whether dominating an early game can just lead to victory as it has for this team in the past, or whether they do have to go back to adding some of these scaling elements and trying to help things along here for the squad. But I think that there are a lot of notable differences here from Weibo as well. As we dive into the Rift here for game number 2, it's the fact that I don't think the Jax value is nearly as high as it was in game number 1 for Oscarinin.
You know what value I think is very high, though?
What's that?
Light's Ezreal. Because Light's Ezreal was his most played in summer and in summer playoffs. And this player has really been like the most consistent, like best carry for Weibo, I feel like, over the course. So Light on the Ezreal, I think, is going to do a lot for them. For me, maybe I've just become too much of an MF hater.
Maybe.
Which is reasonable.
We'll see about the execution, though. I think this game will look very different.
And you can see as well. Remember to log into your Riot account on lolesports.com and watch Worlds live to earn exclusive Worlds emotes, icons, and capsules. Hope that our segue was all right. I'll keep working on it as the days go on.
I really think you did a good job until you asked.
Talked about it?
Yeah.
But that's what I like to do, because then I can never do a good job and it fits in with the vibe.
But you did a really good I don't need to dive into this right now. Does look like Weibo, at the very least, want to figure out what is happening here.
Yeah,
they actually want to commit to a fight.
I like that. Number 1 goal, let's figure out what's happening here.
Well, to be fair, in terms of lane swaps, I do think that's a good call. Are they actually going to commit to the level 1?
What's happening here is a level 1 5-on-5. So we figured out
that's what's happening.
All right, we've got a crash down though. His breathe is kind of separated. Does have counter strike, probably one of the best abilities for level 1 in the game.
Oscarinin, he's firing these harpoons, man.
He's finding a lot of value as well. He's running pretty hot right now, looking for another angle there. Does find the last one. That is, I want to see the damage done here in this level 1, because I feel like this Rumble has certainly done a whole lot already. What's the result? Kobe, break it down.
The look on Chronicler's face is the best.
I'm just trying to... What?
Just so you know, at home we have like a fully running like TikTok stream that shows the casters. I think just for Chronicler's face, I think it is well worth. Like,
Okay,
You just zoom it in. You just like have it open on lolesports.com as well.
If that Rakan was a Braum, I'm like, yes, please fully commit to going for an early invade. We'll have to
if
see
you
what-
had wheels, you'd be a bike.
Exactly. You have to see what the actual repercussions of this are going to be, because right now all it's costed Weibo is a teleport, and obviously in many lane swap situations you'd be teleporting towards that wave anyway. But I don't know what it says for Weibo. No one ended up dying. I think Razork must have gotten in here with his Q, because they knew the ward is there.
All right, let's focus up. We got Ahri Vi. Ahri Vi mid lane looking to burn some summoner spells, and look at River too.
Yeah,
Jun is heading
Dissonance
up.
going to speed him up as, yep, Flash does come out. Razork does exactly what he needs to as Jun's going to turn up as well. Going to be difficult for Xiohu in the lane from now on. Just checking some camps here, and you can see Razork already was pretty far ahead. I think Tarzan has now managed to try and catch back up again, but full information of where the jungler is now as Noah catches the wave.
And Atlas, checking off the boxes that you always have when you have a Vi Ahri. First step is always burn the enemy mid summoner spell early on, so that when you get your level 6s, then you can actually get the kill with that guaranteed combo. The only thing you give up is vision of your jungler when you pass through mid, and Weibo looking to punish on that.
Yeah, information over to both sides here, as that is going to be Tarzan locking down the blue buff. Gets the crash into the wall as well, as Noah's going to come on over. Level 3 Breathe taking a fair bit of damage now as Humanoid. He can rotate over as well.
They're going in!
Possibly in trouble. There's the crash down. Crisp taking so much damage, but he flashes to get away. Razork doing exactly the same thing. Noah just standing there looking for someone to hit, as Razork should be taken out, but not before they get the kill on the Rakan. And now Xiohu, remember, doesn't have
He's
flash
stuck.
and is now in the Thunderdome, but the rest of Weibo are there trying to keep him safe. And it looks like Fnatic will just back away.
Good escort, and it looks like both teams said, okay, game number 1, it was a little bit low action, little bit too slow paced.
What was it?
Well, compared to this, it was.
Well, Noah
not
is now
done.
coming on over. Maybe this is just an extended fight, as they will just let the Jacks go home. Tarzan, he wants to be able to take this Rift Scuttler, and maybe we'll just have waves being attacked as Jun just
At some
watches.
point, we gotta pay some attention to the creeps.
That was actually a really big kind of like defense of the recall there for Weibo. If they'd been able to interrupt Bree's recall here, it really would have messed up his timing, because they push in on the bottom wave immediately afterwards, but he gets it off, and so we're actually going to have the regular swap now with Chris rotating up to light on that top side of the map, and Razork actually stealing away from the enemy side here. Let's see how much he can get. Razork already with the pass through mid and bringing that summoner spell is quite big in setting up their early game, but we'll see if he can continue.
Yeah, that's what led to that fight in the first place. It was the fact that Razork went for the gank on mid and then went back into his own jungle, where obviously Weibo were trying to contest, did end up getting it, and now looking at everything that happened, feels like it's still fairly even, right? A lot of summoners blown on the side of Weibo, but unless a big fight breaks out early on, shouldn't be too big of a detriment.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest advantage here is actually on the side of Fnatic, and that is with Razork's possible opportunities for the next plays, because Breeze now, no teleport. Tarzan now, no teleport as well. So if they're able to shift the lanes backwards, then Razork is going to have a lot of opportunities. And Humanoid will get to his level 6 very soon. Of course, the Vi is going to take quite a bit longer, since we've had extra time skirmishing and not full clearing.
Yep. Crisp is going to find the position of Razork. Definitely important, as now Breathe getting stunned up, I think holding on to the Counter-Strike, and that's why Jun doesn't want to overcommit here. Still going to throw the crash down in, and there is that Counter-Strike to come out. Just trying to zone him away as best they can.
This wave state is horrible, though. It's pushing away from Breathe, and the rest of Weibo is towards the top side of the map, trying to get these grubs. They will get that. Fnatic looking to counter with both a Dragon and possibly Jun is still backing. It looks like they're going to let Breathe get to the wave anyway, so just a trade of objectives here.
Yeah, quite nice there for Weibo. Honestly, the player that I had my magnifying glass on from the Champion Select in light on his Ezreal is probably the place that they are still most confident in, even though Noah got the first blood, so the extra bonus money in that skirmish. Because of the extra CS here for Light, who had been CSing on top side of the map, still on a very good pace in this game.
Yeah, because everything's been so chaotic, but we did see for a brief moment there as well, Oscar just getting pelted by Ezreal. I think this is one of the few matchups as well where, particularly after the Rumble nerfs, you're just kind of sitting there and you get poked down. It's really hard for you to get on top of the Ezreal. And even if you do get on top of him, quite as much damage as you do before. Razork should be getting closer towards the level 6, but Xiohu now will have his flash available, so that should take away at least one possible risk here for Weibo.
See whether they can play around that one. There's Noah now still supported by Jun. If you do have a look at where the CS numbers are at, it's sort of like you can see that Light is ahead of Noah, but they haven't been laning against one another, right? And so the fact that Breathe is being kept down so much, I think really does help sort of mitigate some of the issues that have been happening here in this early game as far as farm, because Oscarinin is going to be getting towards a pretty scary point, because this composition, it spikes pretty hard on that level 6 mark. Throwing down that equalizer and setting it up on top of the cease and desist can be absolutely deadly if we do fight for this next pack of grubs.
And speaking of level 6s, there you go. In time for that fight, Razork gets his. So Vi ultimate available.
First plate is going to be taken down here. Almost grabs a second as well here on the side of Weibo. But Noah and Jun just going to try and make this one an honest one. A little bit of an Australian lane swap as the bottom lane moves towards topside.
Quite early as well, considering normally this happens to try and get... Oh!
Whoa, there's the flash in, the Shattering Strike, and the bullet time comes through. Crisp, there was nothing he could do about it. It's now Tarzan looking for an opportunity. They're not going to be able to find the angle. Good flash to get Razork out of there. And Fnatic, they strike.
Exceptional flash from Jun. Jun has been magnificent in this series for Fnatic. Really big determining factor in game number 1, coming up with a couple of big engages in this game as well. He was the one who started out the bottom side skirmish for their side as well. And it was a little bit of acting, you know, with Razork kind of walking back the other direction. Razork kind of made them look the other way as Humanoid does get hit with a shockwave for now.
Yeah, Crisp going to battle dance forward. No flash from Humanoid, just holds onto it and doesn't actually need it. So nicely done. Equalizer has to be used here towards the bottom side just to try and get Breathe off of Oscarinin, but it is a trade of ultimates in the end. I just think that the Equalizer a little bit more valuable in the upcoming fights.
Yeah, Xiohu is only sitting on tier, so I imagine you when I press tab, he's like, no, I don't need to invest anything
there.
there.
Coming in for all that damage, Chronicler.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that might have been the point.
It was. Yeah, thank you, Atlas.
Have you seen the AP mid roaming Rakans?
I have.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Not
It's okay, it was a fraud. I haven't experienced it myself.
All right, speaking of roaming mids, though, Humanoid being assisted by Jun to clear out some of this vision. Again, always looking at that synergy between Razork, Jun, and Humanoid to pull out some of these plays. Humanoid, not only you mentioned him holding on to the flash there, he also has his ultimate available, so kind of itching to make a play. Vision control around mid, plus having everything ready here. Seems like Fnatic are kind of poised to blow some summoner spells in the next couple of minutes, because you already see Jun on reset, going right back out, holding hands with Razork. You kind of tether those two together. The support jungle engage combo looking to move towards the grub fight.
And with this fight, Ahri, you want to be the one that's at the objective first. You get to decide with full information whether you want to take a fight or not.
Tarzan with a little yoink here.
Ooh, that's actually quite big. Do note, Brief already has his TP available. Oscar's almost ready, but not quite yet.
Yeah, this ward is going to be cleared out here by Weibo as they look to start off these grubs. Already 3 in possession, so they only need to get 1 to activate these mites. It's now Xiohu rotating over a ward as well, but gets that
Reaver's
ward
back
into the river. And so that is going to be the first one taken down. 4 grubs, make that 5. As Fnatic just say, yeah, you had 6 last time and we still seem to win, so may as well just not fight for it.
If they're not taking it, then Oscarinin, how come he didn't hard push on the wave? Now he goes up to hard push the wave, that all of them are gone. Looks like Rumble, probably the extra few seconds probably don't matter. He's waiting around for the extra information. Since it's not a cannon wave, those will all die to tower anyway.
Yep, you got Fnatic able to get a crash in towards his top lane as well, as Breathe will look to catch it. So Weibo just back to business now. Still going to be about a 1,000 gold lead here available for Fnatic, so things going just fine in this early game. See what they can make happen here as we move into the mid game where they can exert so much of this pressure with the Vi Ahri, as well as Oscarinin as he gets a couple of items built up almost towards the Liandry's, which is such a big spike.
Big difference here, obviously, though, is that Weibo is completely fine with this going to late game, right? But Weibo isn't really nearly as pressed. There's no Renekton in Italy, no Lucian mid trying to look for flanks. They have a composition that if they ever, regardless of what the game state is, hit their spikes, if they hit a big ultimate of either Crisp, Xiohu, and Tarzan in any combination, or get a good flank from Breathe, they can always find an angle into a fight. Particularly, I think Noah and Oscarinin, both of these champions, they have a lot of threat, but they're also immobile, so you need to be careful. A lot of movement speed, but that alone might not be enough if Crisp finds access to the backline. As now, second Drake, I think, is what Fnatic wants to be looking for here. Yeah. Again, with those ultimates available, I think as a Ahri comp, you should always be looking to try and play. As it looks like the mid wave just going to be fully dropped. Humanoid making his way over. That's pretty costly for Fnatic. They got to go.
Yeah, Razork making his way in, make it rain to slow them down. Is Light taking a bit of damage from that double up as well. Fnatic do get themselves into the river. It's just a Cloud Drake.
Look at the vision for Weibo here. They're very well aware of what is happening.
Well, they also are going to be able to get control of this bottom wave. Jun just trying to get himself in there. Shattering Strike just onto Tarzan, but he's still going to pressure him away. Now Weibo, they can start off this Drake if they'd like to, but instead just want to take control of these waves. And I think we're going to do this dance again, gentlemen.
Yeah, and you can tell too with mid-wave push, now Humanoid gets to move into the river and fully clear out all this vision. So a little prio there does enable the setup here for Fnatic, a lot easier for them. We've also got full BT completed for Noah in time for this fight.
That's a big spike.
Yeah.
They definitely want to use it. Weibo's stalling a bit down there though, and did make them a little bit extra cautious. But in the end, they're going to cede it due to the completed items here.
Yep, looks like Fnatic will just be able to take this one down. Crisp is going to poke his head in and see what's going on, but Tarzan not in the area, and that is going to mean the Dragon does go over to Fnatic. We've got another Ocean Soul back-to-back this game. A lot of brushes, as now Crisp is going to get slowed down, but it's Rakan. Fair bit of mobility as far as options there. They get the teleport out. Razork just holds onto the ulti. But now the Magnet Storm still comes in. Bullet Time doing so much work as Crisp. Burning down, but still going to be able to escape. But now Breathe on the flank angle, and he finds Jun, takes him out. And that is going to be the second kill in the fight as Razork hits the deck. Weibo, they struck a little bit late in that one, but it worked out so beautifully.
I think Bin's Jax yesterday kind of inspired everybody.
Yeah, I think so.
Previous to that, Jax had not been winning that much, and now coming out with a nice teleport flank himself. Breathe gets in there, in the back with the counter-strike. It was nicely set up by Weibo pretty early on here, though, with the trap towards Tribrush.
Humanoid also not able to join that fight. I think did have his teleport available, but it looked initially like either you can turn there with the turn from Razork onto Crisp, actually take him down. And I think that second teleport kind of caught Fnatic off guard, because otherwise if they teleport Humanoid in earlier and the Ahri can assist with just a little bit of damage, the restart starts coming online.
That's the key point, because it was very sneaky play there from Weibo.
Yeah.
You know, putting all that vision down and setting up the play. They're like, okay, fine. You get the Dragon, and kind of Fnatic lull them to sleep as they reset after acquiring their objective. Then Weibo strike and get some extra money.
Ooh, Tarzan gets over the wall there. Suppression does come on through as now Humanoid down to 50% as Light throwing out these Mystic Shots, doing so much work as Humanoid gets over the wall, avoids the rock, but is now not able to get back, just teleported towards that top side, and so Weibo should be able to now use that in order to grab this Rift Herald.
Oh, if Crisp had led that a little bit further on his Rakan knockup, probably would have at least forced Humanoid's flash, but it was just inside, and the Ahri ultimate distance was enough to get Humanoid out.
This time, just like in game number one, Weibo is going to be able to pick this up.
Ooh, Oscar able to take this turret as well.
He has been left to his own devices in the bot lane, so just pushing away. First turret blood to come through.
Ooh, Jun looking for a little bit of a wraparound here as Razork not able to get the interruption on the back. There goes the Rift Herald. Tarzan collects that one. We'll see whether we get an earlier turret take in mid lane this time, as if at first you don't succeed, let's just do it again. As he does get charmed, doesn't quite work out as Crisp with the quickness finds one charm. There's the knock up, the flash forward into the Impale. Shockwave layered on top. Man, that looked completely unplayable for Humanoid, and that spelled his death. As Weibo now looking to push forward, find more, maybe even just find this turret.
Yep, that is a very dead mid laner, and guess what? The gold went to the perfect spot for Weibo. Lights Ezreal getting paid here. They should be able to keep up the pressure, push in the extra wave, and then swap down to the other side. Already look, Jax is going straight for the turret right now, so Breathe as well going to benefit from this pressure.
In the previous play, way back in mid lane, felt like we praised Humanoid for holding on to his flash. This time around, if there's that much CC, you know the moment you get hit by anything, it's pretty much game over. It did feel very telegraphed. Maybe the call was that even if he does invest the flash, Crisp just follows up with his own and you still end up going down. I'd have to see the replay, but it is a big win for Weibo. And again, unlike game number 1, this isn't the game where they need to get big leads. They can just keep playing for these team fights, particularly with Light in the spot that he's in right now.
Yeah, you can definitely feel the difference. Look a lot more calm here. I will say a lot of the breaking points in these types of ones usually come down to that third dragon as well, because you don't really want to give away the Dragon's Soul point, which if you get the third one, then you're kind of risking your opponents just like flipping and stealing one later to get a big benefit. So usually we'll throw down a bit early. And then if you look at your item breakpoints for Weibo, it's looking beautiful. They have all of their Merc Treads for their tenacity, for all of the engage from Fnatic. And then they have the main damage items here and working on their second item power spikes here for the 2 carries.
Yep, and I think like 2 item spikes for Ezreal and for the Orianna need no introduction. And that is going to be a terrifying time for Fnatic when those items do get completed. I think Light must be very, very close to that Muramana completion, almost getting to full stacks. And that is going to mean this Ezreal is going to be fully unlocked. And so the gold, about 500, not really anything in it at all. And I think 22 seconds, that's when this Ocean Drake is going to spawn. And Soul Point going to be really powerful for giving Fnatic control moving forward in this series. Or in this game, at least.
Yeah, this is going to be a big breaking point. For Fnatic, there is basically 2 modes. Big engage with an MF ult and a rumble, or picking off a single target. For Weibo, want to try and keep that backline safe and have Tarzan and Brief take up all the initial damage. As Herald is dropped mid, we do have Brief with a teleport. This time, the ward's not quite as good as they were in the previous play.
So Humanoid a little bit far up here as they're trying to get some control. Shattering Strike comes in, another crash down as there's the Equalizer doing a lot of work. And there goes the Skarner, couldn't do anything about it at all. It's Chris, battle dances his way out. And the Rift Herald does get a charge, might get a turret, but I don't think they'll get a dragon.
Deja vu?
Yeah.
Okay, this time it does go down.
Okay, yeah, finish. Whew. All right, Breather's in the top lane though, looking to try and trade Dragon for an inner turret. It's going to be a large influx of gold here for Weibo if he's able to get it. Especially if they get a cheeky Oscarinin with it as Jun coming up, trying to keep himself alive. As, yeah, they're taking a lot of damage. Chris is going to have to get out of there. The Rumble does fall, but I think they'll be trading top lane as it's Breathe looking to get out. That's going to be Noah collecting the kill as well. It's the worst possible scenario. And now Humanoid, he's got some more dashes. Light comes in, and Humanoid goes out. But Xiohu may not be so lucky. Noah's flashing forward. He's a psycho, but it's working. As Light tries to push him away and will be successful. Oh man.
And this chain from Fnatic all starts with them saying, fine, we're just going to see, first hero we see, kill that hero. And they immediately just destroy.
A tale as old as time.
Yeah,
You love to see it.
And that's what you need to break it back down to. If you have a team that has so much CC and is built around getting picks, just take the first opportunity. And they deleted the front line from Weibo, which allowed them to get Dragon number 3. Then this kind of follow-on play where Weibo like, all right, Fnatic are probably going to commit more resources to taking that Dragon. But Fnatic only left Vi down there, so they're able to get the little bit of punishment for the attempted dive here by Weibo. Ends up being a little bit of a trade.
And Light, truly heroic timing there on the arrival, because if he's not there and Humanoid can chase on, Noah can flash aggressively, that could have been the backbreaker. Because do note, right now, Weibo still with a gold lead. Humanoid going in aggressively, but not hitting.
Yeah, that's an ulti used. And now the Ahri with a little bit less mobility, of course, does have, you know, not long to wait on a level 2 ultimate. Still, Spirit Rush is pretty important to how Humanoid wants to play out these fights. Xiohu going to catch this minion wave, and now it should be a dance around the Baron until this Dragon becomes a talking point once again.
What a present, this series. It's not what I was expecting in terms of how close these games have been. This game still very much up in the air as well. Good first series at Worlds.
Yeah, I can't really gauge it. You know, I can't gauge where I think this particular game is going to go. I feel like Weibo are fighting so much harder this time. I feel like they are playing towards their composition a whole lot more. But Fnatic really did put a fair bit of hope in me after that first game.
I've heard that's a very dangerous thing,
Yeah.
Atlas.
I'm not monologuing though. I'm just saying it's stating a fact. Like they did well. Is that? It's not. Maybe it's a bad
They
monologue.
successfully filled Atlas with hope. I like that. Hope was forcefully put in you.
I do have hope now. We'll just have to check in with whether that's allowed. As Noah is going to catch a wave in the mid lane, and Weibo with a lot of vision. I feel like they've had just more vision throughout this entire series so far, and around this Baron, it's working out.
I think the feeling of trepidation that both of you are experiencing right now is because this still comes down to the next big team fight.
Oh, yeah.
It still comes down to the next big breaking point here, because it has certainly not been determined yet.
Oh, Chris taking a fair bit of damage here is interrupted. No blast code for you. The equalizer thrown down doesn't quite work out, but Crisp is already dead. Tarzan getting closed in on him. Breathe. Gonna have to be an absolute hero here, but he's knocked up. The Skarner's taken out. Razork with an amazing flash, but Light is now in the fight, and Noah will be taken out. It's a double. It is gigantic. Triple now for the Ezreal. Make it a quadra, and Light turns up, and the lights are out for Fnatic.
Oh my god! 4 kills in the hands of Light's Ezreal? This game just went so far the way of Weibo. And it had started out so nice for Fnatic on their pick. Look at this.
The big thing here is that, yes, they get the kill. Look at what they invest. That is Noah's ult, Razork's ult, and Oscar's ult. So much of the power of Fnatic, even though they're fighting in this choke, ends up making... And look at this play here from the Jax. Actually getting the threat on Noah, stunning Razork as well, and then Light's follow-up. And if that wasn't enough, shockwave there from Xiohu, and Weibo with an impeccable fight. And the big thing is, yes, this is a lot of gold, but so many sums were used. And the soul fight that I think Fnatic otherwise would have loved to take, looking a lot rougher now.
Jax is looking pretty good in this series, okay?
Yeah.
That follow for the double stun and Light instantly jumping over the back of Wolves to finish off the kills. Like, Weibo just forcefully retook control of that team fight, even though Fnatic start out with the pick.
Actually looking, I thought that Fnatic used more. It's only Razork and Oscar's flash. Noah has his backup now, obviously didn't have it in the previous play. But there you see, like, that's an insane spike when it comes to the gold. Do note, Fnatic can just give this up. They don't need to. They don't need to fight for this dragon. They can wait and kind of have it equalize. I don't know if they want to do that though, and that teleport says absolutely not.
Nice charm to come through there from Humanoid, but Tarzan not taking a whole lot of damage at the moment. Immortal Skarner seems to be a theme as well in this series.
He's on vision. He's on vision.
Yeah, Tarzan does get himself over. Not going to quite find the stun, though, as Breathe gets into that backline. This Counter-Strike not quite as good, but Humanoid still going to get taken out of the fight. Another shockwave on absolutely everyone in that particular area, and Jun going to get taken out in the end. Breathe going to finish him off, and I feel like Weibo, they may have just started this snowball a-rolling.
Yeah, that's going to be Dragon denied from Fnatic, and possibly then turning everything over towards the Baron area of the map. I mean, it's 25 seconds on both Noah and Razork. Weibo just control the entire map.
And that one team fight, really good for Weibo, but not that great. I think this one is. It denies the soul, it further builds the gold lead, and even if Weibo don't end up getting the Baron, which to be fair, I don't think there's a lot that Fnatic can do, even if they wouldn't, they would be the first ones that would be able to get the back in, get back out on the map, and at this point, Fnatic wasn't going to be able to contest, and as we see, Weibo pick it up even further, building upon that gold lead.
Yep, the Baron is going to be taken down, and I want to just put everyone's eyes towards Xiohu. Last time, it was do or die, you know, by Xiohu and what he was doing in these fights. This time, he's 1-0-11, 100% kill contribution in this game, and he's being this conductor of these fights, staying off to the side, not pushing too far forward, and that teleport from Breathe was beautiful.
Because it's twofold, because there's so much mobility on Humanoid that if he doesn't also have to deal with the Jax, he might just be able to Spirit Rush away, but instead, that flank from Breathe. Again, as you're saying, Kobe, that Jax looking mighty strong.
Noah had no options, really, and it's good call out by Weibo. They're like, this Misfortune with no flash is an easy target. The deep ward that they left behind previously is what they used to start this out, and if you're sending the Jax plus the Skarner straight towards the Misfortune face, then there's not a lot that he could do. And Weibo successfully able to snowball, as you say. Now it's an easy push mid, rotate up through the jungle towards that top side. The secondary tower here really does not stand a chance.
Well, Breathe probably going to find out that there is a Jun in that brush. So far, he's a bit of a secret agent, finds a Magnet Storm onto 3. The cease and desist comes in. The Ezreal has been taken out, but Humanoid had to sacrifice himself for it. The knockups are beautiful, though. Crisp able to answer back, and no one gets caught in the impale. I think that Weibo might just be too far ahead, and even though that grand entrance didn't work, it's only Jun trying to clip Klopp away.
That's the beauty of a triple carry composition. Yes, Light gets taken out, but they have more than enough damage with the rest of the members.
Yeah, Jun trying to get to his fountain here. I don't know whether he's going to be successful. There's hungry Weibo players, and it's Xiohu that's able to cash in 4-0-13 on this Orianna, looking so much better, and Weibo looking to even out the series.
Yeah, and they're going to get at least 2 here in the inhibitors, with Breathe immediately after that fight went mid to push the mid wave, so they got value out of both Baron buffs, pushing topside, pushing mid. They successfully get 2 inhibitors off of that fight as well. Also saying that was one of the more stylish Seeker's arm guards that we've seen from Breathe. He popped his Counter-Strike, then Seeker's, so that the CC went off as he was still golden to finish off the kill. Here's a look at the initiation, though.
And Light definitely was not aware of the Rell, E'd over the wall, and immediately got blown up. But this is, again, the problem. Like, even with so much damage being thrown in to Light, it doesn't matter. Like, Xiohu is completely uncontested in this fight. Breathe, stylish on the Jax. Cool. And at this point in Orianna obviously has so much damage available. Even though he's still shy of the death cap, we can see if you can get these consistent rotations out. Fnatic without any damage, not a lot that they can do. I think they could have looked for the end, but also, again, if Weibo somehow end up losing this series, that's the end. So trying to play it for like the 99%, I think is a good call.
All right, because they got both top and mid inhibitors, very easy for Weibo now to finish the pressure. Just rotate over towards bottom side, push up the wave. Here comes the siege. Fnatic trying to pull off a last stand here.
It's going to have to be an absolute miracle. The True Shot Barrage does go wide. Razork tried to get in there just to push Crisp away, and he's just not going to even listen to him. There's a flash forward, though. They find the ultimate onto Xiohu, but he just goes golden. And now it's Weibo's turn to throw a volley back. The 2-man shockwave is beautiful, and Light is absolutely untouched this time around. Humanoid has some mobility, but unfortunately he's moving only to the death chamber in this instance. 2 of these Nexus turrets will be taken out, and Weibo are going to even out the series here up against Fnatic.
We're going to a game 3, baby. Woo!
I want you more, Kobe. Again, I'm coming in here, you know, Atlas and I, we're fresh of a plane. And Weibo ensuring that we get the full series, at least in this this first game. I gotta say, Weibo in this one, I think they really took the lessons of the previous. Like, guys, if we just play a little bit slower, play a very stable team comp, it's fine.
Yeah,
we're good to go.
Maybe it's a little bit of the coaching, like, Jax is pretty good. If they pick Misfortunes, pretty good into that as well. And it just kind of worked
Should
out.
have been Jin.
I just feel like maybe there are some things that are too strong, but that is a thing for next game. It is now time for us to go to a short break, and when we get back, we'll have to see who is going to stay in the tournament, who's going home.
In my team, the Mickey X, I think he often flashes forward, sees some angle that we might not see, but he just goes in, he's not scared. So that would be him.
아무래도 저랑 코어장전 선수인 것 같고요. 이게 미드원딜의 전면이 더 소중하다 보니까 정글 서폿보다. 그래서 막 써서 5분마다 계속 쿨템 돌리면서 적을 괴롭힌다. 그래서 좀 막 쓰는 것 같아요, 솔직히.
If you're wondering why I move the way I do, I just feel so good.